新世紀エヴァンゲリオン
All right, let's read stage 72 of Neon Genesis Evangelion. The title here, Saigo no Shisha. Saigo no Shisha, the final messenger. And a little bit oddly, the Shisha messenger, we get the character for to use, which is the she here, is in katakana. So for some reason, this she is in katakana. I don't know if there's some meaning behind that, and this just means person. So we'll see. The final messenger is really what this title means. Okay, so it looks like Katsuragi is spying. Hey, T-Pack, how's it going? Good to see you. Katsuragi is spying on Kaoru, it looks like. And remember, Kaoru was talking with Seele, but he was standing on this strange statue, and Seele was around him, but apparently they're not actually there. This is some sort of like either projection, or he's able to see him, or whatever. So, interesting. So he's not actually where Seele is or something. Dame da wa. It's no good. なんかつぶやいてるみたいだけど. Yep, Korn's helping out. Okay, so somehow tsubuyaku. Okay, like somehow seems to be murmuring or muttering. So it's no good, seems to be muttering or something. ここからじゃ、from here, 唇の動きが読めない. The movement of the lips, not able to read. I can't see the movement or read the movement of his lips. So それにしても, in any case, 独り言を言うためにこんな朝っぱらから散歩なんて. Okay, so even so, for the purposes of like a monologue, for the purposes of talking to oneself, this sort of a early in the morning, a walk, doing a walk or whatever, blah, blah, blah. 危ないやつね. He's a dangerous guy, isn't he? Okay. で、彼のデータ入手できた? And his data, was it possible to like obtain it? 入手? Remember, they had a data file, but it was mostly empty. Yep. Hey, it looks like a Game Boy Advance. いい時にいいから。いい時にいいから. Okay, this is a person, like Lieutenant Ibuki from them. 無断で食用したものです. Okay, this is the person she's been meeting with occasionally to try to get like intelligence. Okay, so Nii is going to be like second lieutenant or something. First lieutenant. So from Lieutenant Ibuki, without permission. Is that shaku? Shakuyo. Borrowing did. So I borrowed it without permission from Lieutenant Ibuki. すまないわね. Like, sorry. 泥棒みたいなことばかりやらせて. Like, making you do only things like a thief. 泥棒みたい, like a thief, things only that, making do. 何これ? What's this? What's this thing? マヤちゃんが公表できないわけですよ. Maya-chan. Who's Maya-chan? Maya-chan. 公表? Official announcement, not being possible, reason it is. So like, this is the reason why a public announcement, like Ma-chan isn't able to do a public announcement? Maya-chan. Who is Maya-chan? 理論上、ありえないことですから、理論上. Riron is like a theory. And so riron jo is like an additive theory or an additional theory is impossible because like a theory is impossible. The English went with it makes no logical sense. Okay, so like a theory of making sense is impossible. So he's saying that's why Maya-chan can't make an announcement. エヴァとのシンクロ率を自由に設定できるとはね。しかも自分の意思で。Okay. With the Ava's sync probability freely controlling, sette? Yeah. Freely controlling or establishing is possible as for that. So what they're saying is Kaoru is able to like basically freely set or control or create a sync probability with the Ava. However, with one's own will, shikamo jibun no ishi de, with one's own will. Okay, so like as he will. Freely and like with his own will. そろそろはっきりさせないといけないわね。そろそろ means, doesn't that mean soon or momentarily? Yeah. So before long, はっきりさせないと, if we don't, we must like make this clear. はっきり. Oh, so we got to figure this out. We must make this clear before long, soon. はっきり. Yeah, okay. Normally we see hakari iu, meaning to like speak frankly or to put it bluntly. But that's not what she's saying here. Kare no shoutai o. His true form. That's what we must soon make clear is his true form. Again, she's talking about Kaoru. So omotte. So like I'm thinking that way, meaning like I'm thinking that way also. Choito chohobu no data ni warikomimashita. Thinking that way a little bit. Chohobu. 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 Actually, we went choho. There we go. Oh, the intelligence unit. Into the intelligence unit, their data. Into the intelligence unit's data, like split. Warikomu? Cut into. Muscled in on. Interrupted. Yeah, so thinking that way a little bit into the data of the intelligence group, muscled in on or cut into, etc. 危ないことするわね. That's a dangerous thing to do, isn't it? Oh, 危ないことするわね. Yeah, wasn't it? その回はありましたよ. As for that kai, it existed. Okay. Kai, what does this mean? Kai would normally mean shellfish, but it can mean a number of things. Meeting, party, assembly. It can mean a counter for occurrences. That's not what we want. It can mean a story, like a floor of a building, stairs, stage. As for that kai, it existed. I don't quite know what to make of this. Maybe as for that club or as for that meeting party, it existed. I can't use the English here because they decided to translate this completely differently. Apparently they thought this was too hard. This was you're taking a risk. And I don't see kai here meaning a risk. Maybe what else can it could be a noun form of kao. Like a provocation? I don't know. That feels like a stretch to me. I don't know. I'm not sure what this is. Anyway, Ritsuko-san no ibasho desu. Ms. Ritsuko's location it is? Ibasho. Whereabouts it is. It's the whereabouts of Miss Ritsuko. Oh. Okay. その会話ありましたよ. Anyway, apparently the data he found by inserting himself or whatever was the whereabouts of Ritsuko. Ah, okay. よく来られたわね. Like, you did well to be able to come? You did well to find me? 聞きたいことがあるの. There's something I want to ask you. Something wanting to ask exists. So she's just been sitting in this chair this whole time, apparently. ここでの会話? Like a conversation in this place. 録音させるわよ. It's being, I think, recorded. 録音. Yeah. It's being recorded. Conversations in this place. かまわないわ. I don't care. あの少年, that boy. フィフスの正体は何? The fifth, meaning kaoru. The fifth's true form. As for that, what is it? Nagisa Kaoru. That's the boy's name. Nagisa Kaoru. 彼の誕生年月日がセカンドインパクトと同じなのは his basically birthday, his birth year, month, and day. It's the same, as for it being the same of the second impact. Okay. Well, this is the setup. So as for his birth year, month, and day being the same as the second impact, as for that, 多分, probably, あの日, あそこで, that day, over there in that place, 最後に生まれた人だからよ. The final Shito was born. The final Shito was born over there on that day, probably, I think. Okay, so I guess that's Ritsuko saying this. Masaka. It can't be. すべてShitoは, as for all the Shito, アダムから生まれたというの? It's because they were all born from Adam? Anohi, that day, 人はアダムに何をしたな? Shitano. That day, as for people, to Adam, what did? What did they do? What did people do to Adam that day? 人は, as for people, 他の人が覚醒する前にアダムを卵にまで戻そうとした。 Okay, this gakusei is not the gakusei that it's also kakusei, so it would help if I read that right. Kakusei. It's not gakusei. Kakusei. Waking up, arousal, revival. Before arousing or waking up the other Shito. Oh boy. Okay, we're getting a different spelling of modal soul here. So let's get multal, which is the second character here. We don't see this too often in Evangelion. There we go. This is kangen in kanji, which means resolution, reduction, or return to origins. But she says modal, which is a way to say to return. So kind of like saying the same thing, but a different pair of kanji. So as for people, before arousal or the wakening up of the other Shito, like tried to return to origins until an egg, Adam. They tried to return Adam to an egg before the other Shito woke up, in essence. その結果がsecond impacto. And the result of that was that second impact. Okay. There you go. That was the result of the second impact. People tried to turn Adam back into an egg before the other Shito could wake up or something. And we see the Longinus spear here, which suggests some purpose of it. And we saw earlier Rei in the Eva stabbing the Adam in the basement with this thing. Jizen ni. Is that earlier? Yeah. Prior, in advance. Jizen ni 引き上げられたあなたのお父さんの調査隊のデータの中に Okay, so beforehand, the like retrieved 引き上げる the pulled up the pulled out oh boy the pulled out from your father's investigation group's data from amongst it. So it's beforehand, like amongst the data of the investigation group of your father that was like retrieved or pulled up. 何らかの形で人の遺伝子を使おうとした功績があったと聞くわ。Okay, so 何らか? Is that like 何らか, but she's saying 何らか? With what sort of a form of humans' 遺伝子, which is like genes? Yeah, 遺伝子 is genes. Humans' genes trying to use 痕跡があった. 痕跡 is traces. Okay, so I've heard that there were traces of trying to use human genes with some sort of a form or in some sort of fashion. Moshi, if, okay, so that she's saying with the data that was pulled up, that's what she's kind of heard or figured out from all this. They tried to use human genes in some fashion. 何らかの形で. If, moshi, それが秘密裏に実際に行われていて、秘密裏 is a secret something. 秘密裏 behind closed doors, behind the scenes, truth were to occur. That thing, like secretly in truth, if it were to occur or if it proceeded. Uh, その時生まれた人が人の形をしていて、the Shito born at that time doing the shape of humans or would take the shape of humans, それを委員会が手に入れたとしたら, and that thing, if the committee obtained, すべての辻褄が青と紛わいってるわ. Everything, and so we're also seeing here now Kaoru looking at one of the Eva. That's what's happening while Ritsuko is talking. So, Tsujitsuma, consistency. As for the Magi, like combining all the consistency and saying, or speaking. As for the Magi, like, I guess they're speaking with consistency of everything. すべての辻褄が青と紛わいってるわ. Or no, this is if. If all of the consistencies are put together, or if all the coherences are combined, as for the Magi, it's saying, it's speaking. Okay? Oh, jikanda, that it's time. Okay, so again, the idea here is that the Shito born at that time, like, became a human, or did a human shape, i.e. him, and then the committee, if the committee got it, then all that stuff is consistent, I guess, with Magi. So again, the suggestion here is that Kaoru is the thing that was born, etc. So he is the final Shito, apparently. It's time. Jikanda. じゃあ、行こうか. Well then, shall we go? Adamu no bunshin, the piece of Adam. Bunshin. Or offshoot of Adam. Shall we go? Offshoot of Adam. そして、リリンのしもべ. And besides the Ririn no Shimobe, servant of Ririn. We still, have we really seen what Ririn means? The English is going servant of Lilam, but I don't know that we've seen what that means yet. But he's calling a offshoot of Adam and like servant of Ririn. Okay, he's like walking off the edge here. And apparently he's now just hovering. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, you can see alert. This is like K-hole, like warning report. Eva ni goki kido. Eva number 2 unit, like activation. Okay, so he's taking Asuka's. douyukoto? Like, how or what do you mean? Asuka wa? As for Asuka. 303 byōshitsu desu. It's hospital room 303. Live. There you go. Kakunin zumi desu. Like, confirmation complete. Ja, fifsu. Well then, the fifth. Ie no. Mujin desu. It's like no person. It's personless, unmanned. Oops. Yeah, it's unmanned, uninhabited. Mujin. There we go, unmanned. 2号機にエントリープラグは挿入されていません. Basically, to the second unit, as for the entry plug, it's not inserted. 挿入 insertion. Checked by Magi. Okay. Is this really? Okay, we got to go a few more pages to get the halfway point. Onna, bakana. It can't be impossible. Central dogma ni 80 field no hassei o kakunin. So in central dogma, the outbreak or the occurrence of an AT field confirmed. Nigoki, the second unit. Ie no. Patan o ao. It's pattern blue. Okay. Chigai arimasen. There's no mistake. Shito desu. It's a Shito. So there we go. 12th angel identified. Yahari, as I thought. Bifsuka, the fifth. All right. All right, now we're seeing Zayla. This is them talking. Hito wa orokasa o wasure. So as for people, like forget, I guess orokasa would be like foolishness. Orokasa. Yeah, oroka means foolish or stupid. So orokasa would be like foolishness or stupidity. So people forget stupidity or foolishness. Onaji ayamachi o kurikaesu. And like the same mistakes repeat. They forget their foolishness and repeat the same mistakes. Ayamachi. Yeah, error. Mizu kara shokuzai o okonawa nakareba hito wa kawaranu. Shokuzai is something about crime or sin. Zai. Atonement. So one's own atonement, if it doesn't proceed, as for people, won't change. So if people don't atone, they won't change. Wareware no te de mirai e to kawaru shika michi wa nai. With our own hands, or with our own hand, toward the future, only changing, as for the path for only changing does not exist. Or, like, well, let's do it this way. As for, like, to the future, as for the path that changes, or the only path that changes, it's with our hand. So only by our hand are we able to change the path towards the future. Ikari. Okay, that's the name, Ikari. Shogoki ni yoru suiko o nagao zo. Nioru is just like about or concerning. By means of. Okay, so by means of the first unit, suiko o nagao zo. Suiko, accomplish or do nagao, wish for the accomplishment? Wish for the execution? Like through the first unit, wish for, desire, seek for, implore the accomplishment. And they're saying that to Ikari. Okay. 目標は第4層を通過. Tsuka is just corridor? Passage, yeah. So as for the target, the number 4 level or layer passage, or is passing through the number 4 layer. なおも降下中. Naomo. Oh, that furthermore. So also furthermore descent in the middle of descending. Hokachu. Dame desu. It's no good. Linear no dengen wa kiremasen. As for the linear electrical source, not able to cut. Oh, basically, we can't cut the power. I guess linear is supposed to be linear elevator, but whatever. 目標は第5層を通過. So as for the target, passage through number 5 layer. セントラルドグマへ続く全隔壁を緊急閉鎖. Okay, so towards central dogma, continuing all kakuhei. This is some sort, or heki, some sort of doors or walls. Zen kakuheki. Kakuheki is barriers or partitions. Continuing all barriers, partitions. Urgent kinkyu heisa, like closure. Urgent closure. Of all the barriers up until central dogma. 少しでもいい, even a little bit is good. Gakon. 時間を稼げ, buy time. Oh, yeah, so like try to buy time, even a little bit is good. Gakon, gakon. So these are doors like slamming shut, the pistons moving. Masaka. It can't be. ゼーレが直接送り込んでくるとはな. That Zela, like directly okurikomu. Like as for them being able to send in directly, unbelievable. 浪人たちは要定を一つ繰り上げるつもりだ. Okay, so as for the old men, meaning Zela, yote, the plans, one thing, kuriageru. Kuriageru. No. Kuriageru. To move up, to advance. Intending. Okay, so as for the old men, they're intending to like move up one thing, the plan. 我々の手を使ってな, and they're using our hand. だが, however, 思い通りにはさせん. As for like according to their wishes, will not allow. I won't allow it to go according to their wishes. Omoedori is like according to one's thoughts. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Or as they please, as they like. But according to one's thoughts, will not allow. Sasen. Okay, and that is the halfway point of this stage. We're going to pause there, and we'll see what's going to happen when we complete it next time.